Hello, YouTube. Okay, got an error here, so I'm just getting this is working. Okay, we're live, it seems. Okay. Hello, my name is Greg from GregsTutoringNYC at gmail.com. You can find my email address below there. Let me just make sure this is going over here. Okay. The past day or so, I do a lot of specialized high school tutoring, particularly for the SHSAT, the Hunter College High School Baccalaureate, Beacon, etc., etc. I also do New York State tutoring for the state tests, as well as homework help and so on. And in the past day, somebody asked me, their daughter, I think, was going to take the SHSAT in October, and they were wondering whether they should take a PSAT or an SAT class. So I have a bunch of mixed feelings about this. My first level response is, if you're taking the SAT, then take an SHSAT class. Basically, when you go back and forth, if we kind of back up and approach this more abstractly and look at things kind of first things first, you're taking an SHSAT test, so you might as well take an SHSAT prep class or tutoring or workbook or whatever the case may be. Now, it's true that some of these standardized tests overlap, in that there are things from the SAT that you can learn that can apply to the SHSAT. There's also things from the PSAT that you can take and apply to the SAT and the SHSAT. There's also things you can take in the ACT as well that will apply to all of them as well. So there's a bunch of overlap here, but I kind of look at it like first things first. First of all, it depends on your child, your student, which is really going to be the best for them. But there's also another aspect of this, which is that very few people who take the SHSAT get a perfect score. As some of you might know, there's kind of two halves to it. There's the English part and the math part, and they're scored independently, and they're ranked independently, and they're curved independently, and then the two scores are added together, and it creates a sort of an imbalance. So you can do really well on the English, for instance, and so-so on the math, and still get in a specialized school. You could also do really well on the math and so-so on the English and still get in. But you have to be super duper at the top there for the one half that you really got good on. So there's a juggling aspect here and so on. And the truth of the matter is, even the kids who do well by doing good in one half, they rarely get every single question right. So at the end of the day, the SHSAT is a hard test. And at the end of the day, there's a lot of challenging problems on the math side, on the English side, on both sides. There's multiple choice, there's grid-ins, and so on. So there's a lot to worry about here already without kind of bumping it up to the next level. Now there's another side to this coin, which is that if you over-prepare, let's say the SAT is a superset of the SAT, then it seems that if you are prepared for the SAT, then you should be prepared for the SHSAT. That's both true and false in the sense that the SAT might have some harder questions. That is for college level 4 years later than the age of the kids taking the SHSAT. So that if you can do well in the SAT, the argument is you should be doing well in the SHSAT. The problem is the premise of those two tests are different. Okay, the SAT is more on par for the level of the New York State tests at a 12th grade level. Okay, the SHSAT is, yes, it's testing the curriculum, but it's also testing the kids' creativity, their rigor, how they adapt to novel situations, all this kind of stuff like that. The SAT is not doing that. Okay, so just to kind of back up again, and by the way, the person was asking for somebody willing to take the SHSAT for entry into 10th grade, not for 9th grade. Okay, but my answer is still the same, that the best preparation for SHSAT is to take an SHSAT prep. If you feel you're really excelling or you're getting bored or just want to challenge yourself, for sure, bump it up to the next level. So the kind of iteration, if you will, this is if you had the opportunity, unlimited money, unlimited time, all this stuff like this, I would first of all make sure I was really solid and beyond solid on my SHSAT prep. Okay, then I would go on to the PSAT, then I would go on to the SAT, and then I would go on to the ACT. Okay, and I'm really focusing on the English half because that was the woman's perspective here, but that's also true on the math part. I would also go through that iteration. It's basically walk before you can run, follow the normal iterative process that things normally take here. Okay. By the way, in the math side, I would also suggest looking at the AMC math competition, the CML math competition, and the website artofproblemsolving.com. There's a lot of math problems in there. Also joining your math team. There's tons of resources here. So let me ask you guys, what do you think? How do you guys think this should be resolved? What's the best course of progression here? Write it in the comments below. Again, I'm Greg from GregsTutoringNYC at gmail.com. You know what, too? I have a good question. How about putting in really excellent English grammar books that you're aware of? I know when I went to Brooklyn Tech, we had to read the elements of style. What books are modern today that are exceeding that? I know some people use, for instance, the Oxford Style Guideline. What are the best books your guys are finding for review books pertaining to that? I'm not talking about prep books. I'm talking about grammar and English books that are not related to literature, because the SHSAT now has a grammar section and some other aspects of dealing with author's craft and things like that. All right, people. So this is a quickie response, just throwing some extra things out here. I'm also testing my connection because I'm doing it a little differently. I'm doing a series of math things, and I'm doing it slightly different right now. So I just want to make sure it's working too before I do an hour and a half long session. All right, people. Peace out.